Hi there, my name is Jean Brazeau, and I'm honored to be a contestant in the next top spiritual authors competition. My top author ID is 2275, and the name of my book is The Lights Are On, Is Anyone Home? A Seeker's Guide to Physical, Emotional, and Spiritual Wellness. According to the standards set by society, I had succeeded. From the outside looking in, I led a good upper middle class life. Gainfully employed, a nice suburban home, the perfect family, and an above average family income. I was successful, or at least as defined by the rules, beliefs, and societal standards which I took on and made my own. No questions asked. Much of my adult life, I congratulated myself on how far I'd come against all odds. I survived a childhood filled with violent physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, which left me filled with fear, shame, anger, self-hatred, guilt, and an endless number of self-limiting beliefs. The good life as I knew it came crumbling down in March 2000 when my eldest sister died. Over the next 2 years, life presented countless painful experiences, including a diagnosis of breast cancer, the deaths of my mother, my best friend's son, my brother-in-law, and my stepfather. What finally got my attention was another devastating health blow in the form of a diagnosis of a brain and spinal cord tumor. Totally oblivious to even the existence of alternative healing modalities, or the universe, or the law of distraction as I referred to the life I once lived. And at my wit's end, I recall declaring, enough already, no more. A series of synchronistic events followed this proclamation and introduced me to a totally new life paradigm, which invited me to explore different alternative and complementary healing modalities, and it offered a completely new and empowering perspective on the root of dis-ease. I certainly had to acknowledge that I had lifelong repressed emotions, and I'd lived a life that included breast cancer, brain and spinal cord tumors, elevated blood pressure and cholesterol, severe migraines, allergies, severe gastrointestinal problems, a body consumed with pain, a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, dissociative disorder, and limited cognitive ability, all of which threatened my very livelihood. Fast forward 7 years, and from a newfound place of wellness and freedom, I find myself wondering how it was I never saw or questioned the illusionary good life I projected to the world for what it really was. If my life was so good, and I had it all, why then was it that I had 2 failed marriages, life-threatening health issues, and each day required a handful of antidepressants, painkillers, prescription and recreational drugs, and alcohol in order to live it? As I reflect on that time in my life, I can't help but wonder why I wasn't asking those questions back then, when I thought life was so great. Where was I, and what exactly was going on? In reflection, I noticed similarities between my former self and a puppet that someone else was controlling. Society, family, friends, employers, all saying, be this, do that, wear this, think that, say this, don't ever say that. All I did was crawl out of bed each day and step on life's treadmill without ever even questioning the insanity of it. When I look back on those years, I see that I was exhibiting the classic symptoms of the lights are on, is anyone home syndrome. The good news is, this condition is not necessarily terminal. I have also come to know without a shadow of a doubt, there are many others living life this way. Ours is a society of walking wounded, sleepwalking through life, oblivious to the obvious signs that something is just not right. How often do you hear people respond when asked how they were doing? Fine, thank you, everything's fine. If we're also fine, why then is it that the most prescribed drugs in North America are designed to treat depression and other mental, emotional disorders? What is really going on? It is as though we are leading many lives, lives that we present to the world, lives that we reserve for our nearest and dearest, and lives that play out in our minds that we dare not speak of. On one hand, smiling outwardly, pretending that everything's okay and life is great. On the other hand, inwardly we despise our jobs, bicker constantly with our partners and children, are financially strapped, our emotional and physical health is declining, we have no sense of self, and our lives lack purpose. I'm fine, you're fine, and all is well. Is it really? Having traveled far and wide and studied with some of the best masters on the planet, the one common denominator I saw amongst all of the teachings was the outer is a reflection of the inner. As I embraced and unraveled the craziness of the good life I had created for myself, I was led into the deepest, darkest crevices of my body and conscious and subconscious mind. The exploration and dissolvement of these dark inner places led me to an awakening which has changed my life and the lives of so many others around me. The Lights Are On, Is Anyone Home? Encompasses the teachings, tools, and methodologies which I learned and applied on my deeply profound personal commitment to the discovery, embodiment, and expression of my true and authentic self. What started as a quest to heal a tumor ended up guiding me home, to my heart, and to a loving, compassionate, purpose-filled life. The message I share is this: in spite of all your sufferings, you too can heal and live a life filled with great health, happiness, clarity, play, fun, and joy. A life where being you is more than okay. And by being you, you become the change in the world simply by emanating and radiating you as you. My book, The Lights On, Is Anyone Home? Can show you the way. The choice is yours. It's my deepest prayer that you choose well. You deserve it. My name is Jane Brazeau, top author ID 2275. Please vote for my book. Together we can make a difference in our world. Thank you, and namaste.